Alrighty guys, we are back driving the beast. So what I've done, as I mentioned in the last video where I got it fresh back from paint, is I have actually finally got the MONSTATORQUE Stage 4 ZF, which is the 6R80 1000 horsepower rated ZF. And I just thought I'd give you a preview, or a POV view I should say, of what it's like driving this thing. Unfortunately, what I got to do with the ZF Life is I've got to get it to relearn the shifts again, because we've got different clamping pressure, and it's thrown it all out. So I've been told I've got to do about 2,000 run-in Ks for this thing. So that's going to be really enjoyable. So basically I got to cruise around like this and stop-start traffic for 2,000 odd Ks. It could be slightly less, could be more. It really will depend how long it takes to relearn those shifts again. So it's got to cycle up and down. I can't do those as highway kilometers. It has to be stop-start traffic for that reason. It's got to relearn all those shifts again. Particularly third gear, there's about 40% more clamping pressure in third gear. So yeah, it's just going to be beyond enjoyable. But I can tell you, after 6 months, it's good just to be in it again, to be honest. Now, this is the first time I've used this head cam on the GoPro, and I'm not using my normal mic setup for this, so I'm really unsure of how good or bad this sound quality is going to be. So apologies if it's not much good. Well, time will tell on this one. One thing that is not enjoyable though is the shifts on this thing. So like I said, we've got to run it in, it's got to relearn. Now, it really is crazy. We've limited this thing to, I think it's about 3,000 RPM, so we just can't go beyond that. But even then, if you try to get anywhere near that and it changes when it's in the anywhere near that 3,000 RPM, it's just beyond terrible. Like it's I was told it was going to be harsh, but it's like you expect to see your tail shaft fly out into the abyss harsh. Like it's really thumps through the car, and it flares at random points, like it just got a little bit there. And I'm doing nothing remotely harsh. Like I'm at what, 1500 RPM, and even then it started to flare a little bit after the change. So yeah, it really depends, from what I've been told, of how you've been driving your car with the ZF. If you've been letting it kick down, if you've been letting it, like if it is on its sort of last legs and then you get it built, because it's been flaring and learning all the wrong ways to go about shifting. It will take longer. Like in certain cases it can take 4,000 to 5,000 Ks if it's had a really hard time and it was on its way out and you've let it do that for quite a while. It will take a lot longer, whereas if you've babied it a lot of its life and you build it, it will be a shorter run-in. So yeah, this is fun. So unfortunately in my case, because I got under it a little bit, it's going to be around the 2,000 mark, but we'll see how that goes. Now I've even heard instances of, you know, even if you do those 2,000 odd Ks, it doesn't get perfect. And then once it gets its tune, it really goes super smooth. So we'll see. It's about to happen. About to click past the first 100 Ks of running. Stop start. Well, mostly stop start. Only 1,900 odd to go. Nine. So I just wanted to show you guys, because for anyone who's looking to get a built auto, in particular a MONSTATORQUE one, I cannot stress enough, and Rob beat it into me like it was crazy, that it needs to be run in properly. So you need to baby it. If you can put a limiter on it of 3,000 RPM, or maybe slightly less, you just really have to baby it. Don't build it up on boost. You just have to let it, stick it in drive, as he told me, and drive around like a nun going for a license for the Ks. Now, how harsh it shifts initially will dictate sort of how long you have to do it for. I asked how you sort of know when it's come good, and he said it will just start driving really smooth again. A way you do that is you go, put it into park, put your foot on the brake, go into reverse. If it clicks harsh back into reverse, you still need to keep running it in. It needs to be smooth. It won't flare anymore, and it'll just start driving like a stock one again. That's when you know it's been run in. And that will really dictate how good or not the box is. So you could have this top level box, you could have a stage 2 box, you could have another one put in. If you don't do the run-in Ks, it will really turn the box into a bit of a pig. And it will dictate how long it sort of lasts, outside of if you don't keep up with service intervals, if you let it get too hot, if you don't let it warm up, all that kind of stuff that obviously affects it, as well as the tune obviously is a massive bearing on that fact. But yeah, you really need to run them in properly to get a killer box out at the end of the day when you go to get it tuned. So yeah, unfortunately it is what it is. It's just, it speaks realms. If there's ever been a poster child for a TH400, for example, where the run-in is do a power skid leaving the shop, it's got to be the ZF, because this is a painful process and there's not much way of getting around it at this stage. There's a couple of things that have suggested that they might be able to bypass this and do almost like a factory reset and you can get past this, but unfortunately there's nothing yet that's sort of proven that. Now, thing I just wanted to clarify as well, because even I thought it was the case, when you're running in these boxes, you're not actually running in the components like I thought. All the clutches, when you get a Monster Torque one, are pre-soaked, which they may well all be at this level, but yeah, all the components don't necessarily need that run-in. The length of this run-in is not for the components. It's purely for the TCM module needing to relearn how to shift properly again. It's been taught all the wrong habits, and again, it's trying to deal with, if you're running a stall, for example, like I am, this is a 3100 to 3300 stall in this now. It's got to cater for the bigger volume or different volumes of pressures and oil going through that system, as well as in the clutch packs, and now how it's been set up. Like I said, in third gear alone, it's about 40% more clamping pressure in third gear. So it's trying to cater for that, as well as relearn the good habits again. And that length really is dependent on how it was driven beforehand. This head cam really isn't the most stylish thing. Getting plenty of looks. Oh, yeah, nice change. Silky smooth. Oh man, he's going around the hood of Rockingham. Seeing what the choice locals are up to. And it's so good driving this thing, seeing all the carbon. It's just, well, the bar's not exactly very high when the rest of the time I've been driving an X-Trail with a CVT Auto, which is literally the worst thing ever invented. Seems to keep it everywhere except where the power is, and it sounds like a whole bunch of mosquitoes mating, to be honest, when you step on it. I think I need to empty my catch can again, man. It's starting to smell. For anyone who's got a race style or wants to get a race style catch can, just be aware that because of the way it vents and where mine's mounted anyway, close to the booster, when they start getting more full, you will smell them, man. So, a bit unfortunate, but easy fix, and visually it's just worth it anyway, in my opinion. Once you get the braided lines and everything, it looks really good. The street ones are a bit wah. I reckon Freo is going to be super busy today, but look at it. Just getting those stop-start Ks in. Very nice. Here we go. Good old Freo. Oh man, clean S15. What D speeds? I thought they were raised for a second. Ah, genuine D speeds. I'm just checking out the HZ. All the old boys like, oh yeah, I used to have one of those. Except mine was beige and it was 3 on the tree. Where's all the nice cars at, man? Usually you get the guys in their exotics and the old muscle cars and that coming down. Because there's a place we'll go past it soon called Munchies, which is like a hotspot meet point for all car guys down at Freo. All the night spot meetups. It's also where you get your yellow stickers from the boys in blue, which is always nice. It's important to raise revenue. Man, that Toronto is straight. Yeah, it's important to raise revenue and keep the state pumping along. Doing our part, you know, to keep everything going and get these roads fixed. Except, it doesn't really happen. Actually, that's a bit of a lie. WA, generally speaking, except for that one bit that we just went over, has really, really good roads. Like coming from Brisbane, the roads are really terrible. I don't know, they still haven't figured out what a good road in Brisbane is, I'm sure of it. So WA by comparison is pretty nice. There's Munchies up on the left for all your health food requirements. Oh dude, no way. why. Very clean. No doubt a replica, but it doesn't really matter. They're genuine ones, you don't really see them on the road anyway because people are too scared to drive them, and I don't blame them for how much they're worth. Oh, hang on, we got the boys. There's something going on. Old school car meet. See what I mean? This is what I'm talking about, car meets galore. Yep, old baller. Oh. All Holden boys. Very nice. Oh man, Landau? Yeah, Landau, look at that. Sweet as killer. I would park, but I think I'm about 20 odd years off being applicable for this meet. There are some super clean rides in there. Mega nice. Oh, let's do it. Man. So good seeing this thing out in the sun again though. Been so long. And she is looking sweet. Man, I've missed looking at this bay. Although it is filthy. Down in there, I don't know how well you can see it, is a new Ross Race Series balancer. I did that just in prep for the next round of stuff that's going on, which will be happening in about May, June, with the turbo and exhaust and everything like that. So while we were there, I thought we'd just fit that one. The cooler, I said I was going to get an external cooler with the thermofan set up. That is still happening. It just hasn't happened yet because there's really no need. It's only getting babied around. So we'll wait to do that one when we go in again. But man, it's really, really good seeing it out again. Anyway, that is gonna do it for today, guys. I'm not gonna bore you anymore with my cruising around. Yeah, unfortunately, it's just gonna be, like I said, about 2,000 Ks of that. So I'm really not gonna film any more of that because it is beyond boring. But we will get there. It'll all be run in. The other thing I'm gonna be doing when it goes back in is I'm gonna do a 1,000 to 1,200 horsepower rated tail shaft through a company called Final Drive over here, which again MonsterTorque uses for all their bigger builds, because obviously if we start trying to launch this thing with the bigger power and everything else that's going on with it, it is just going to kill that tail shaft. And the last thing I want to do is have that spear the ground and mess my shit up. So be doing that as well. Like I said, the cooler. So yeah, that is going to do it for this one, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed. I'm not going to film any more of my cruising around. It's up to me to do the 2,000 run-in Ks, so that's just going to involve, like I said, purely cruising around, letting it shift up and down the gears. So I'm not going to film any more of that. But yeah, stay tuned because there's still plenty in the works, not just for this car. Obviously, we're going to go for at least a 10-second pass with it. And the next round of mods for that is about May, June, for when it goes back in once the box is run in. But beyond that, we've got a lot of cool features lined up, build features of people's cars here in Perth. More big-powered, Barra-powered Falcons. Some V8 cars. We've got a couple of Commodores coming up. We've even got some Skylines. Finally get some JDM love in here. So that's going to be cool. I think we've got a 650 or 670 horsepower R33 GDST. So that's going to be sick. But yeah, and obviously we're still doing the Barra-powered Mustang. So that's going to go in to get its... I think we're fitting the auto next on that one. That's going to be happening very, very soon. But yeah, heaps to come. So if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe, like that smash button, and I'll see you in the next one.